folks. Larry Rolla here. I was just in the middle of a conversation with my friends. I'm going to bring them right back on. Here's Ron. And
hi, everybody.
Here's Joe.
Hey, Ron. Hey, hi, Larry.
Here's Anthony. Now,
Hey, Ron.
I have to finish the conversation with them. You people won't know what we're talking about, but you will know. It's about the heat, the blinkers I made, and that they're going to have a heat absorbing gel that's going to stop all of this heat stroke and heart attacks and all of that stuff. So anyway, let me finish where I started, and then we'll get on with the show. So when I realized the equipment that I was going to need, it was some pretty heavyweight equipment and everything, and not only that, but to do everything I have to do as far as the gel goes with the scientists, I'm going to have to buy a machine over there, and now we're talking about some pretty big money. So I called up Sal, and I called up Freddie, and both of them guys have very good connections with all the higher ups in the jockey club and HISA and that whole bit. Even though I don't know if I would need any kind of approval, but I just want to make sure before I go any further. So I talked to Sal and I talked to Freddie, and I sent them all the information that they would need, everything pertaining to the gel, what it's made of, how it's made, but the whole bit, and everything that I sent to some of it I sent to you guys, and the letter I wrote to HISA I gave them, and all about why it's so necessary for this to happen. So today I got the first report back from Sal, and it was a very good report. The guy who he spoke to, and I forgot his name, but he's a heavyweight guy. He loved the idea. He says this is so needed, and on and on and on and on. And then Sal sent him all the information I gave him, and he says, I don't believe we would have any objection with this. HISA would not have any objection about this, but he says, but let me make sure, let me talk to legal, let me talk to this, let me talk to that, but I can't see how this can't work. So it wouldn't be approved. So I contacted the scientists that I work with, and I told them all of that, because it's been a couple of weeks since I spoke with them, and I told him all of that, and so he was happy, and he's ready to go whenever we're ready. So Sal's going to call me in a couple of days, because this person he spoke to, some heavyweight guy, I don't remember his name. He's going to just make sure that the road is clear and whatever, and it might even be a state thing. But once it's a state thing, once they approve something like this, how could any other state deny it? So I'm not even worried about that. So the next step after this final approval will be, we're going to get in touch with a couple of people that I have in mind that would go. I would put up this company, and they would put up a bunch of money, and we'll just create some kind of partnership, and just build a company from the ground up. I spoke today with the people from Apex, which is the company that approves this company here. They do all the they clean up all the factory for all the hospitals and everything. So in other words, when you get material that they sanction, it's pure, it's clean, it's toxin free, no chemicals, no nothing. It's the best, cleanest material that you can get. So not only are we going to have our own company, we're going to have a total unique product, not only because of the gel, but because of the fabric that it's made out of. And I probably won't do this, but I was thinking of redesigning the cups, because the full cups on the blinkers, they create a little, it's no big deal, but they create a little havoc when you're going about 40 miles an hour. It's like a wind tunnel in there. But I checked it out, and it don't do that much damage to the eyes. But I thought that I could probably make my own set of, so this way the blinker would be totally unique, even when it comes to the cups. and just have the round cup. But when the piece comes out, it comes straight out. In other words, if you take the blinkers that the standardbreds use on a bridle, it's just straight. With the cups are like this. So just picture the cups instead of being round, it's made out of the same material, only it's straight. And this way it won't. And it's another bullshit thing where,
But then they're not cups no more.
all of that stuff. Just more that you could add on why this blinker should be the only blinker anybody ever uses for more reasons than one. And that's it. Okay, so now everybody is up to date. As soon as I get more information from Sal, and Sal is really the right person. I mean, he's really good. He was good. And he did the right thing. He sent, not only did he talk with the guy for a couple of hours, he sent everything I sent him, he sent to the guy through the email. And the guy was very, very impressed. And he says, how could this not happen? So anyway, that's it. Tonight, me and Anthony we have a film. But we're not going to play it. It's 26 minutes long. Somebody put it together. I don't know who it was, and I asked Anthony to investigate it, and he said it was some company that just got a whole bunch of newspaper clippings. And what it basically is my life story. Everything that I went through from the times with Whitey Bulger all the way up until, they had a couple of things a little wrong and a couple of things and I think I sent it to you too, right, Joe?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, Joe sent it to me.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we're not going to play that. So what I'm going to do now, because
Did you see it, Ron?
No,
I didn't send it to you.
no,
I thought I sent it to you too.
no, I didn't see it.
I'll send it tomorrow to you.
All right, thanks.
just so you know, Ron, there's a lot of stuff missing out of there, and he got a lot of stuff backwards and a little wrong, but it's the basic story. But there's some things that happened before other things, so you could tell that they just got stuff from all kinds of research that they did. But
and whatever they got on my uncle was from Wikipedia. I mean, shit, anybody could Google his name and get that information. So they didn't dig too deep into anything.
Yeah. Anthony, do you have what I sent you about? Do you have it there where you could read it?
Yeah.
Could
I can read it.
Let me tell him about this, and then you read it. All right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. What I did the last couple of days, waiting for Sal to get back to me, I couldn't do anything more with the cap with the scientists. I reached the point where I just have to wait for the okays, and then it's gonna, and then we go to the next step. And the next step is a big step, and then we're on our way. And the worst that we would have to do, if Heiser and the jockey club and all the horseman clubs, I have to get to them first to see if they would sanction it. If they don't, then we just create a massive marketing thing, which won't be hard to do because it's right on the internet. You just put something, you send it, so it's no big deal. So anyway, the last few days I had nothing to do about that, and so what I did was I have a commitment. I made a commitment with the people in California about my movie and my TV series, and I gave them until the end of this year to come up with something, or I'm going to take it over because I have my own contacts, and they're pretty strong and pretty good contacts. So while I was sitting there, I was going to rewrite the whole screenplay that I had based on the book. But the screenplay, what I don't like about it is that there's almost 400 voiceovers. Now, Casino had 350 voiceovers. My screenplay has 400 voiceovers. So, and it still leaves a lot out. So I really want it to be a TV series. And there's 2 or 3 major companies that just want to do TV series about real life people. So them are the people that I'm going to go to. And I'll tell you, one is Mark Wahlberg. He just wants to do real life stories and he has a major production company, and he would do TV series. So what I decided to do, instead of rewriting a screenplay, because nobody's ever going to read a screenplay, they want you to make a storybook and all this stuff. So what I decided to do was just create like the opening scene that would basically want you to know what happens next. So originally it happened in real life. It happened on a boat. We went to Atlantic Highlands, met in a coffee shop. They took me to the pier, put me out on a boat, threw me in the cement, and that's really how it happened. But to film all of that, because I want to create like a little 4 or 5 minute film. To film all of that, it would cost a lot of money. And so what I did was, just for the sake of basically a synopsis, I made the boat scene. I made everything happen right in the restaurant. So so that's what I did. In the beginning of what Anthony is going to read is just a voiceover. I think it's self-explanatory anyway. I just wrote it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a couple of my friends who are actors, but I got to get the right guy to play Cabert. You got to get a New York guy with a New York accent that looks like a mob guy and talks like a mob guy. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get them all together. Going to go to my friend's restaurant and get my friend Tom come with 3-4 cameras and do a real professional job. And it's only going to be a very short thing. So Anthony, and this is it. So Anthony, why don't you read it? It's only a few minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah. A once respected horse trainer drowning in debt to a local mob boss creates the largest race fixing operation the nation has ever known. A sprawling network that spiraled into a nationwide web of rigged outcomes and coordinated race day sabotage, all born from one single meeting and one desperate deal. October 1972. In a dimly lit coffee shop in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, sits Robert Cabert Casaccia, a captain in New York's Guarino crime family. Cabert was a psychopath and had a reputation as a guy who made his bones as a ruthless killer and was the boss of the organization's New Jersey crew. He was smoking a stogie and sipping an espresso. Also at the table were two of Cabert's men. Standing facing Cabert was little Sammy Corasso, the underboss of Cabert's crew, and the horse trainer, Larry Rolla. Cabert looks up at Larry. Welcome back. Looks like Florida was good to you. You look like a movie star. How the fuck could you do what you did? What the fuck were you thinking? You know me. You know who I am. You know what I do. For more than a year, there was never a problem between us, and there ain't nothing you could have come to me with that wouldn't work out our fix, including this. But instead, you pulled a scumbag move. You left town and took a shot at me. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Now you owe me $360,000 that you don't have. I don't know why, but Sammy let you go too far, and that's on him. You went too far, and that's on you. Now you tell me why I shouldn't put you in a bucket of cement and throw you in the middle of the fucking ocean. Larry, standing in place, deflated. Because I can pay. I ran out of cash and took a shot, but I can pay. Cabert looking at Sammy. Sammy, did you hear that? Sammy, I heard it, boss, and I know I let him go to this point, but we got more than $1 million of his money, and he was never late. So he says he can pay. I believe him. He's in big action. He controls a lot of the races at the tracks around here. Cabert looking at Larry. Okay, you say you can pay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make $360,000 you owe me a Sherlock loan, 2 points a week until you got my $360,000. Do you understand what I'm saying? Larry, I understand. Cabert, that's $7,200 vig every week until I get my $360,000. You miss 1 week, you won't have to worry about the next. Larry, I understand. The deal wasn't about greed or fear or prison. It was pure survival. What follows is a true story of one man's ride through the tainted world of horse racing, a world riddled with greed, corruption, celebrities, drugs, sex, and the mob.
Now that little video will take about 5 minutes with the right people, convincing people. That will take the place of a written synopsis of 5 or 6 pages. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I did in the days I was off from this cool cap. Anyway, that
was very good, Larry.
Yeah.
It was gave a quick synopsis.
Yeah, it would definitely keep somebody's interest to want to know more.
It would definitely, if that was like the beginning of a Netflix trailer, I'd say,
right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Anthony, right. You screwed up reading it. And I asked you, here's how you screwed up.
Wow.
You screwed up this. In the beginning, it says, Cabert, welcome back. Welcome back. Looks like Florida is good to you, and you look like a movie star. Oh, but wait a minute. You forgot to say, okay, here. You forgot to say this. Here, I'll start from the beginning. Welcome back. Looks like Florida was good to you. You look like a movie star. Now that you're back, I got to ask you a question. You left that sentence out.
Well, over here, it doesn't say. The email you sent me doesn't say. It doesn't say that. I just wrote in what you added. But in your original email, it doesn't say that.
All right. Well,
anyway, I know how to read a script.
That's right. Larry, you screwed up again.
Oh, you know what happened? I probably sent it to him, and then I read it, and then I had to add the line because they add it too abruptly. So this is how it got to read. It got to read, Cabert looks up at Larry. Now, I just got back from Florida, and I beat him for over 300,000. I didn't beat him. I lost over 300, and I come back. His man picks me up at the airport, and he says, okay, let's go. The boss wants to see. He thinks I'm going to give him 360,000. That's when I says I got no money. So anyway, I get back. Cabert sends for me. I go there, and I go into the place, and then he says, welcome back. Looks like Florida was good to you. You look like a movie star, meaning the tan and everything. Now that you're back, I got to ask you a question. How the fuck?
See, I don't have now that you're back.
Yeah, because all right, so I screwed up. I added that after. So now I got to, okay, so anyway. But anyway, now you know what I did for the last 3 days. I wrote that. Now it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun making this little movie. I just got to get in touch with I don't know if I should ask Arman Asante, who's probably going to play me in the movie, not me, but Cabert, and I'm just going to elongate his thing, or if I should get, because there's a lot of good guys in this, all these mob shows, and I know them all. In fact, I was just invited yesterday to the birthday party of Peter Guarino, the guy who, and he knows all them guys, all the guys from Gravesend and all the guys from The Sopranos, and all them guys are going to be there. So, but I don't know if I probably would use the lesser guys that really look the part, and that's probably what I'm gonna do, because it's only gonna be like a 3-minute thing, between the voiceovers and everything. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'll have a little fun with that, and then by next year, I'll start getting in touch with a couple of people and see if I can't get all of this done. So,
Joe, we'll do a sequel. How we got put into this podcast of Larry Rolla.
Yeah, we'll be the
behind the scenes.
Yeah, we'll be in the thing at the end where they scroll. Will be the last name, and
right, yeah. Well,
I mean, if you guys were here, you'd be on the table. The only thing's, Anthony, you'd have to get that fucking earring out of your ear. I mean, you can't sit at a table as a wise guy and have an earring dangling from your ear.
They come out.
I know. But you're in North Carolina, Just like the guy, I finally found the guy, the perfect guy to make the hoods, to sew the hoods and everything. He lives an hour and a half away. Not only that, but he rides a bicycle. So that means I finally found somebody, but now I got to drive an hour and a half because I'm going to, as soon as I get the okay and everything happens, I'm going to sit with him to make the blinker perfect, just the way, because I have being sent to me now a bunch of different material. I have nylon, 80% nylon with 20% spandex, 4-way stretch, 2-way stretch. I have it with polyester, 20%, 15% stretch. I have all this coming to me, and I'm going to sit with this kid and make the perfect one, because when it's 4-way stretch and you don't have blinkers and you put it on and you put the Velcro on, it elongates the eye. It don't look right. And some of these,
it's not fitted as well.
Yeah, it don't fit as well. It don't look as good. So,
and by the way, Larry, I don't wear an earring and I fit the part.
No, you fit the part, but you're 1,500 miles away.
I'm close to it. Hey, they have planes today,
Yeah.
Yeah, you got. Well, Joe said he's going to come in for the reunion, for the Roosevelt reunion.
Is that definitely happening? I haven't heard. I spoke to Mike LaChance. He didn't hear anything about it.
I don't know.
Freddie gave a date of January 31st.
I don't know. All I know is that this month a lot's supposed to happen. Ronnie Pierce is supposed to come on the second week. A bunch of guys are supposed to come on the second week. I don't know for sure. I get surprised. I don't know. I don't ask and I won't ask. But
I spoke to Roy Marone. He said he's going to come on next week.
Yeah.
He's going to tell a story about when I shot him.
Yeah.
Roy Marone?
Yeah.
Did you say?
Yep. You know him?
I know him.
Everybody knows him.
I don't like the way you said that.
I know him from Monticello.
I got a good story.
I know when him and Johnny Boy terrorized Monticello.
Yeah, well, we got a couple of stories for you.
I never forget the time when Ralph Giuliani when I left the horse business in '84. Ralph Giuliani, who was living with me at the time, he went to the Piers, and he wanted me to go with him, but I didn't go. And he took Roy Marone with him, and he called me up about 6 months later. He says, "Larry, what am I going to do with this kid? He's nuts. He does a lot of bad things." He says, "And how much can I protect him?" He's the kid. I don't know how he is now. I guess he grew up a little bit.
He's all right. I went to lunch with him about 6 months ago, and he's back from Kentucky now. Matter of fact, he's working at Sunshine Meadows. I think he's got some yearlings. He's working for Ron Burke.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
so he says he'll definitely come on next week, but he just got home last night.
Oh, that's good. No good
So,
thing.
He's a funny guy, but he could get you in trouble in a second.
Oh, I know that. He
put me in some jackpots.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill him. The things he did, you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I could believe it because I heard a lot of it. And the kids, and it makes no difference to him. Normally, a normal guy, that fools around a lot, they just like when I had this show at the SPQR, and John Gotti was sitting up front with a bunch of his guys and girls, and I had the comedian Andre. I says, "Don't mess with that table," and he messed with the table, and they were going to kill him. And but naturally, I straightened it out. But it's like that. So when I went to Andre and says, "Why'd you mess with the girls? Why'd you do that?" And he says, "It's a joke. It's a joke. But these people, you can't do that." And Roy's the same way. It makes no difference who you are. He'll fuck with you. He's nuts like that. And then he thinks it's a joke.
Especially you warned him before.
Yeah.
You told him before, do not do what you usually do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What is? Let me go down some of these things here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we got a lot of
Yeah,
comments.
yeah. We got to say hello to. I never. Okay, let me. You know what? I'll go down one at a time, real quick. And if anybody wants to talk about anything, Ron, Joe, or Anthony,
Okay.
we'll just do it. In the meantime, we'll go through. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Michael.
Hi, Mike.
Right.
Hey, Mike.
Michael, Manny, is it only a 4-horse field?
It was only a 4-horse field.
It was only a 4-horse field. I see he couldn't leave, but okay. So I guess him and Manny are having conversations back and forth. Okay, Phil, can you guys talk about the issue with the jockey refusing to ride on Sunday at Aqueduct? Something to do with weights and scales. Yeah, Eddie's supposed to come on tonight and talk about that, but he's not feeling well. So I told him, if you're not feeling well, don't come on. But if you're listening in, and I knew I was going to get this question and I wanted to talk about it, when and I didn't research it because Eddie's a trainer there, so he knows. So Eddie, if you're listening, and I think you are, answer Phil's question about what happened Sunday with the jockeys. You know, I don't know what happened. I don't know the whole story, and I'm sure it had nothing to do with track conditions. It had something to do with probably, I don't know, but it's and I don't know the whole story, so I really don't want to talk too much about it. But that if it wasn't a really serious, threatening thing to the horse or the jockey, that has to be a shitty thing these jockeys did for the trainer, for the owner, for the horse. You know, you come a long way, you get your horse ready, they race every month, and then if it's over a bullshit thing, that's terrible. But that's as much as I'll say, because I don't know if it's a bullshit thing. But if it was, the jockeys, you know, the jockeys are like the riders today. Years ago, the drivers in harness racing years ago, they all trained their own stable. Everybody got up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody worked all day. Everybody raced all night. It was a grueling thing, and everybody appreciated everybody, whether you were rich or poor, doing good or not good, because you know the effort that everybody put into it. Today, the drivers don't have to worry about compensation insurance. They don't have to worry about stalls. They don't have to worry about shoeing, blacksmith appointments, grooms. They don't have to worry about none of that. All they have to do is worry about who's going to clean their colors, getting their race bike maybe from one place to another, or they already have them there, and making sure they have enough whips and good for them. But when you pull these bullshit moves, if it is a bullshit move, you got to take into consideration if the jockeys were the ones that had the horses, that trained the horses and shipped and got ready for this race and waited a month to get in this race, would you have done the same thing if you owned the horse and trained the horse? Would you have done the same thing? And that's the way you have to look at these things, because sometimes the drivers, not all of them, but some of them, and the jockeys, they think who the fuck they are, and sometimes it goes to their head. And you got to think about the people that put you on the horses. You have to think about the people that put you down to drive the horses. And that's all I'm saying. But I wish Eddie would answer that, because I'm curious to know too. And if it was a bullshit thing that they were talking about, just a misunderstanding, had something to do with the clerk of scales or something like that, then that's sad. And if it was a bullshit thing, these jockeys that refused to ride that day, the trainers should seriously think about them. And every once in a while, you got to put somebody in their place and say, well, you know, what the agent comes to you, well, why'd you take my man off the horse? Why? Why did he walk out on the races Thursday? I shipped 200 miles to get here. I waited a fucking month. I got everything ready for this race, and for a bullshit reason, they walked out. If that's the case, they should they got to be held accountable for bullshit moves. If it was a legitimate move and the racetrack was dangerous, everybody understands that. From what I understand, 7 horses were put down on the training track at Belmont. That's how bad it was. And it was so bad that they had to kill that many horses on a training track in the morning. And it's terrible. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I can't say too much. All I want to do is save the horses from dying of heat stroke, and so I can't say too much. But anyway, let's go down. I get on these fucking rants, boy. You got to shut me up, guys. Okay, Michael, Phil, they're harness. They are harness people. Okay, whatever. They're having their own discussions there. Let's see. My friend Jesse Black, who brought me bagels the other day, put the link in the chat. The link. Okay. All right. 1 second now. I think I know how to do this. Put the link. No, I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. All right, I'm gonna go back. I don't know, Jesse. Don't confuse me because you put a link. I don't know what that. Why do you want me to put a link? You want me to put a link to get on the show? I guess that's what he wants. I don't know.
I don't know what the link might be for.
Well, if I put the link up, that means anybody can come on the show, which is okay. But what if 100 people come on? Then the whole thing will
be
shut
chaos.
down.
You know, control it
do it in some kind of
I don't know if
organized way. If somebody on the chat says, I want to come on, then I'll send me your email and I'll send you the link and you can come on. We welcome all that. If I was doing this, and this is going to sound shitty because what I'm going to say is if I was doing this in a real serious way, I have 2 or 3 phones with 10, 15 lines on each phone and have 2 or 3 people sitting next to me answering these calls that come in. But I'm not doing it. Like I said, I was going to end this a bunch of times, but I'm glad I don't, because every week I find somebody contacts me through this podcast that I haven't seen in years, and it's good. There's Joe Guarino on this podcast all the time. I never met the guy in person. I never met him. Anthony,
we passed by.
Huh?
I said we passed by. Hello, how you doing? But that's it. I never shook your hand. Nothing.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Just saying hello to you. That's all. Like I would say hello to anybody else. But
Well,
you know,
the last time I saw Ron was at Louis Martinez's office. They were dealing stocks. And the last time I saw Anthony, he was yelling at me because I drove my Cadillac past Jimmy Curran's barn in a puddle of water and it splashed him. So, so the podcast is good. Okay, Dave, who has never taken a shot? Well, there's a lot of guys never take a shot.
Well, he means what we read, that you took a shot and not paying.
Yeah, the shot was big and it was with the wrong person.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking
about. You and you going to Florida with that BS story.
Right, you took a shot.
Real estate, and you took a shot with Cabert betting.
Oh yeah. Well, Dave, if you're saying who has never taken a shot, you're making it sound like everybody has taken a shot, and that's not true. But probably every street guy has taken a shot at one time or another. But they's taken a shot and taken a shot. You know? I mean, if you take a shot,
Larry took a shot with no bullets.
Yeah, and then you get to take a shot with a guy like a Bert who can't. I mean, he was looking for people to kill because he just loved them notches on the belt, and he was recognized. The guys, the New York crew, they knew him, and whenever something serious had to get done, they knew where to go. But at the time I got involved with him, I didn't know who the hell he was. What did I know? I called up Charlie. I says, Charlie, get whatever money you can. I'm shipping into Freehold. I got a horse that won't lose. And get as much as you could. The handle's going to be good. It's going to be on a Saturday. The handle's going to be good. If you can get 3, 4, 5,000, get it and just bet it on the horse. Put it in slow, and that's what he did. So when I come out, I won the race naturally. Gregory Peck. That's another race. That story I talk about that I won the race. I won the race. I come out, And he introduces me. He was at the dining room sitting with Bert and Sammy. And he introduces me, and he says, this is the guy who lent me the money to bet. And that's how I met Bert. So anyway, yeah, and taking a shot. Yeah, everybody takes a shot now and then. It's
I
Just
took
that
a lot
Larry
of
uses
shots.
the camera.
okay. I can't wait to see the movie. When did it go into production? It was in the production, then it had to stop because of COVID. That lasted 2 years. Then I made a big mistake. They asked me to re-sign, and I turned them down. I never should have I turned them down because I thought I can get another company, which I had, that would do it right away. They told me that they had too many things that they were in the middle of when they shut down because of COVID. They're 2 years behind on everything. They couldn't give me any guarantee. So I didn't re-sign. I re-signed with Val Longo, who in fact I might even be with going to this party I mentioned with all the Soprano guys and all the guys from Grey's End. So I signed with them. They called me up. They said, we heard you didn't resign. No, I didn't resign. So I signed with them, and the guy kills himself. So, and then it goes on and on and on and on. And all the writer
Then the
strike,
writer strike and all that other stuff.
actor strike, writer strike,
Mhm.
union strike, all the strikes. So I just handed it over to an agent in California. I gave him 1 year. It ends this year. If they don't do nothing, then I'll kind of take over that thing, that too. I'd really like it to be a TV series, even though I could use the upfront money for a movie. But the TV series would give a whole lot more money. They were talking about a TV series. Well, the movie was going to get $100 million. I was getting $2.5 million right up front, plus $7,500 a week for advising, $7,500 a week for this, for that, for that. I was going to be making like $7,500 plus $2.5 million right up front. So I really wanted the movie, but now to give it the story justice, just like Nicholas Pileggi says, it got to be a TV series. There's too much that's left out. Like I said, it's too long. It's 120 pages, which is like a 2-hour movie with 400 voiceovers. That's more voiceovers than Casino had, and it's the same length. It's so and that's what a lot leaving out. And when they says who you gonna leave, you're gonna leave out the Unger story. You're going to leave out the Nicky Barnes story. You're going to leave out the Whitey Bulger story. You're going to leave out the John Gotti story. You're going to leave out the Wall Street story. Well, what are you going to leave out? Any one of them stories could be a separate series in itself. Anyway, okay. Good evening, all. Good evening, David.
David.
Hey, Dave.
Angelique. Hi, sweetie.
Angelique.
Hello, everyone.
Pretty Angelique.
Pretty Angelique. Joe G for the Hall of Fame. That's right. He should be.
Right.
In fact, I think we're working on it. Are we working on that, Joe?
I don't know. I'm not. But
No,
people say they are.
we got to get our friend to work on that. I don't know if he does.
It's all politics and
all political.
unfortunately, I'm a Republican and Goshen's all Democrats. So I got as much shot as.
Okay, Larry. How about the horses that don't wear blinkers and the trainers that don't want to use what you come out with? Well, the only way they could the horses that don't wear blinkers, if they don't want to put this now. When you say blinkers, everybody associates. See, here, just let me explain to you. When you say a hood, in standardbreds we started off saying a hood. But in thoroughbreds, a hood is with ears and cups. They call that a hood. With no ears, they call it blinkers. So the horses that don't wear blinkers, and it's probably 50-60% of them that don't wear blinkers, if they wanna stop their horse from having possible heat exhaustion, heat stroke, or go through any of these terrible things, and just because a horse don't show any physical signs like wobbling or falling down, it certainly don't mean that their intestines, even the liver and the kidneys are not affected. You just don't notice, like many trainers don't notice that their horses are sick or lame. So if they want to be safe, they're going to put the blinker on. Now,
The blinkers of the cups are just accessories to the hood, but the
Yeah.
hood is what's doing the taking care of the heat stroke.
Right. The
So
hood is what's infused. The hood is infused with the heat absorbing gel. If the
Right.
horse wears a hood because of blinkers, then we add the blinkers on, and we add
Right.
the cups. We add the blinkers.
Yeah, those are just accessories.
French
Has
cups.
nothing to do with
The
what
only
the hood
thing,
is doing.
the only thing that I won't sell it like that. The hood is going to be all white. It's going to be reflective. It's going to reflect 98% of whatever rays come down.
It
from
doesn't absorb the sunlight.
right.
Mm.
Where any other color absorbs, it absorbs as much as the white.
The darker the color, the more it
right.
absorbs.
Okay, so if they don't want to use them, they don't use them. But I'll tell you one thing. I don't know how far this is going to go, but once the insurance companies find out about this, and they will, because they're going to get a letter from me, that they might not insure a horse in a race
Without it.
without it. So now you have your choice. If you want to be a jerk and say, I don't need it, I don't need it. There's one thing I do know, and I mentioned it to maybe to Ron or somebody. I forget. I even forget who I talked to. The hardest thing to do is try to sell something that's preventative, and that's what this is. It prevents heat stroke. It prevents AFib. It prevents everything that kills a horse, except a broken bone in a race. And I guarantee you that 50% of the horses that were diagnosed and killed because of a broken bone, the bone probably broke on the way down from a heart attack or a heat stroke. And don't get me wrong when I say heart attack. A horse don't get a heart attack like a human gets a heart attack. Most of the time, a human gets a heart attack because of clogged arteries. Horses don't get clogged arteries. The only thing that can make a horse get a heart attack is AFib or ventral fibrillation or something like that. Not clogged arteries. Has something to do with heat, and that's it. I can't go on these rants. We'll never get done here. Okay, maybe Mike, maybe Eddie is watching and he can give the that's what I said, Phil. If you're watching, tell us what happened here. Jesse Black, put Anthony in the video as one of Cabert's guys. Anthony's in North Carolina.
I told you I'll fly there.
No, I'm gonna have. You see, I was on the phone. Who the hell was I with? Oh, I was on the phone. I was with you, Jesse Black, and you were telling me to get this guy. No, the guy that's going to play Cabert, it's going to be a guy with a New York, New Jersey accent that looks the part, that sounds the part. You know, it's to me anyway. Everybody says, well, if there's a good enough actor, he'll play the part. Let me tell you something. Probably Frankie Vincent and Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci played the part of a mobster really well. You know why? Because that's what they were. They were not actors. They were mob associates. They wanted to be mobsters. They grew up in that area. They worked for them people and everything else. And that's the kind of guy I want. Now the guy could be an actor. Like I mean, if Pesci was younger and he was in town, I'd ask him to play
Too
the
bad
part.
Frank Vincent ain't around.
Yeah, Frank Vincent. He was my partner in this. He would have did it.
I know. He would have
did
been a
it for
perfect
second.
guy.
But there's many guys that.
I know, but you were tight with him. What did Cabert look like? Which actor did he look like?
Oh, I put his picture up. I don't know. Oh, you mean he looked a lot like a couple of there's a couple of guys that are on that movie Gravesend that there's one guy in particular. In fact, the guy that looks like him, they asked me to do him a favor. One of the guys, it was Peter. Peter's girlfriend asked me to do him a favor. She was making a video, and she needed two guys that look like gangsters and would dress like gangsters. So Peter asked me if I would do it. And so I got all dressed up in my gangster outfit, my $500 hand painted Italian tie, and all the bullshit that they wear. And I went there. Now the guy that they brought from The Sopranos, from Gray's End, he also spoke the same way, but he looked like a bird. So he would be. In fact, I may call Peter tomorrow and ask him. I got to find out. See, it's funny because I don't know if these actors they all belong to SAG, and I don't know if they're allowed to do that without getting paid. So if I want them guys that belong to SAG, I might have to pay them for a day's whatever they get for a day. I think it's 200 and something a day or whatever it is. I don't know, but I'll find all of that out. But the guy don't have to be because this thing gets sold, and say it gets sold to Mark Wahlberg. There's a couple of I got 5 companies right here that are looking for this kind of stuff. They're going to change everything around anyway. So
Anthony, if me and you do it, he'll pay the SAG guys $200-300 a day.
Yeah.
He'll pay us backwards. He'll pay us for gas.
He'll buy us pizza.
SAG.
We'll get pizza.
We'll get gas money.
Yeah.
We'll have gas.
No, I'm going to get one of the guys. Naturally, is going to be Jimmy, because Jimmy is the son of Juicy, and he was my partner. In fact, when he just got out of jail for 7 years, he ran all the unions here in Jersey for the Gambino crew, and he was on my first 5 or 10 podcasts. So I'm going to get him to be one of the mob guys. But I got to get the mob guy. I got to get that's going to do all the talking, because other than Kubert, the only one that's going to say anything is Sammy. So, and that's just one line. So I got to get a young kid that's going to be me, and all he has to say is, I understand, I got it. And Kubert's going to do all the talking, and it's only a couple of paragraphs, but it got to be it can't be like in The Sopranos. They got the fucking guitar player playing the underboss, the Sony. It can't be that. It can't be a guy like that. It got to be a guy that not only looks the part. Not only that, it's not only that, but the way their mannerisms, the way they sit and they talk, and the way they just look up and say
with the hands, talking with the hands.
Yeah, how the fuck could you do what you did? Only a guy that been through that.
Where do you come off bad numbers like this?
No, Vito, not now, not near. You put that cellophane down in the basement on the floor. Oh, here's Eddie. The assistant clerk of scales was fired, and the jockeys refused to ride unless he was hired back by Naira. Now, you see, to me, that could have been taken up. You could have rode for the trainers that had them horses and the owners, because something like this could have been taken up. You could have gave them notice. Say, you don't hire this guy. First of all, why did you fire him? If it's a good reason why they fired him, mind your own fucking business. If it wasn't a good reason, then go to bat for the guy and then just say, listen, until you hire this guy back, there was no real reason for you to hire. Until you hire him back, we're not going to ride as of next week. Give everybody a shot.
Give him 72 hours.
Yeah. Thanks, Eddie. Hope you're feeling better.
Hi, Eddie.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey,
Eddie. Okay, Eddie, I got to answer you. Larry, did Heisa call you? Eddie, no, they never called. And I'm sure I didn't want to look. It was nice what you did. What Eddie did was he spoke to somebody for me. He didn't know that I had already sent Sal to do it. So he spoke to somebody for me, because I think what Eddie did was the training track was so bad that he went to the heavyweights at Heisa and he said, look, 5-6 horses died last week because of this track. And then he got friendly with this one particular girl who he gave me her name. It's downstairs. And he told her about me. And he says he has something that he created that would prevent a lot of heat stroke and and all of this kind of stuff. And you have to know, and what a lot of people don't realize is that you can get heat stroke when it's 20 below zero out. You know, the body still produces a tremendous amount of heat. It's just in the muscles in 1 minute, whether it's below zero or not. But she never called, Eddie. So, and I really don't need her to call. So don't press the issue. But thank you anyway for what you did. And I have Sal working on it. And between Sal and then once we get we already got one okay. Once we get the next okay, Freddie's going to the Jockeys Club. And if we got their okay, there's a couple of horseman organizations. But I don't see how anybody could ever turn this thing down. How could you just not? There's a picture of Cabert.
Oh, there's Cabert. Okay.
That's
All
a
right,
picture
let's
of
see.
Cabert. Yeah. In fact, that's what he looked like when I was dealing with him.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go. Jesse Black, the link for the video that you sent to Anthony.
Yeah, that's what I thought he meant. That video that we wanted to show. He wants you to send that link, so if anybody wants to watch it, they could watch it. But
I
they
don't
could
know.
also look it up on YouTube very easy.
Is it on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what do they look up? Tell them what to look up. What do they look up? Anthony will tell you what to look up. Look it up on YouTube. I don't know how to do that stuff. But whoever put it together, it was I couldn't believe
They had
it.
the right idea. They didn't have all the detail, but they
Yeah.
had the basic outline.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
The name of the video is How the Mafia Rigged America's Richest Horse Race.
Yeah.
How the Mafia rigged the world's richest.
How the Mafia Rigged America's Richest Horse Race.
Well, that's stupid because that makes it sound like it was one race.
Yeah, like
that's the name of the
rigged the
video.
Kentucky Derby or something.
Anyway, if that's what's going to get the story, that's what's going to
Yeah,
Is that true?
that's the video. If they look that up, they'll see the video.
Is that true, Anthony?
No.
No.
No, it's not.
It
It
wasn't
one
one
race.
big race. It was numerous races.
Right.
No, it was races from 1971 until 1970.
Yeah, numerous races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a video that you can watch?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's right on YouTube.
What's it called?
I'll send it to you, Ron.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Let's see what this says. Jesse, the video. Okay.
I thought I did. I'm sorry, Ron.
That's all right.
I sent it to Anthony. I was going to send it to Eddie. Larry got it. I don't know why I didn't send it. Maybe Eddie didn't get it either.
Yeah, well, I got it that you sent it to me. That's how I seen it.
No, I'm not saying Goshen is democratic. I said I was making a comparison. In other words, the people there don't like me.
It says Goshen is very Republican, but
I didn't mean. I was just making a comparison. I didn't mean politically. I meant it's like a Republican asking Democrats for a favor.
Right.
In other words, it'd be like Larry going to the racing commission and telling me he wants to be a judge. You know, they wouldn't approve him. That's what I meant. I didn't mean it. I was just using it as a comparison.
I was told they just now took the last picture of me off the stable gates at all the racetracks.
From all this time.
Okay, David, now if you're meaning the Hall of Fame, I can't say that. Okay.
Yeah, those people in charge of the Hall of Fame are not on my team.
Yeah, David says, that being said, I say Joe G for Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Okay, David Tittyball. What about Sal?
Ayacuzo.
Ayacuzo?
Who's that? Do I know him, Joe?
I don't know him.
I don't know him. I know Sal Cartuccio.
I know a lot of Cuzos, but not I. Well, I did owe a Cuzo. I owed a Cuzo a lot of money.
His
His name was Al Cuzo. I owed him a lot of money. So I guess Io Kuzo works out for me.
Okay, I don't. Well, I don't know. In fact, it was quite. Well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not getting into that.
No.
All right. What else you want to talk about? Okay, wait. Let's see what this one says. The jockeys are pissed off that they want their family members to be allowed in the jockeys' room.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
The jockeys are pissed off because they want their family. That could never happen.
No,
That'd be stupid.
there's no reason for that.
But I'll tell you, some of these jockeys. I'll tell you, I went up to Finger Lakes once, and I could have did anything I wanted up there at the time. But everybody up there is penniless. That's where Mike McCarthy come from. Mike McCarthy, the leading rider at Delaware Park for 9-10 years, come from Finger Lakes. And you go up there, and it's like Monticello, further 100 miles further up in thoroughbreds. It's terrible, and I don't know why people find it so. They combine. They put years ago. They mentioned harness racing in the same breath as professional wrestling. But the difference was professional wrestling was a business, and everybody knew it was a business. Places like Finger Lakes, Parks, Green Mountain, it's a business for the people that own the track, and they could give a fuck less about the people that put the show on.
Yeah,
and then they're surprised.
Hinsdale.
Then when they're surprised when some mob guy shows up and offers somebody that's living in a tack room with 3 kids and has a goat in the stall and milking the goat so the kid can have food. And a mob guy comes and offers him $500 to be out of the worse than third in a trifecta race. The people on the front end find that so fucking amazing. Wow, I didn't know. How could you fix races? How could you, we're all about protecting the public. Well, fuck the public. The public, nobody's telling them what horse to bet on. Nobody's telling, and the people that are putting on the show are living in tack rooms or what. So
desperate people who do desperate things, especially when they're starving.
How could you blame them? How could you blame them for doing?
How could you blame somebody that's hungry and that wants to eat?
Right.
Simple as that.
Right. And that's it. And I'll tell you another thing, because somebody brought it up the other day to me. Why do you keep blaming Tannenbaum for everything that happened to you? Because
It was a legitimate race.
And Tannenbaum was the reason for everything that happened. And if it just happened to me, I'd just go along with it. But he's responsible for my father dying. And that's what got. And if he was alive today, and I said it then, and I would have did it then. I would have did it in 73 when my father died. When I had to tell my father, you can't come to the track no more, because my mother wouldn't give me the money I needed unless I told my father he can't go to the track, that he has to start going to work and bringing money home. And when I told him that, it broke his heart. And he never went back to work. He stayed in that fucking chair, and he died in that chair 6 days later. And if Tannenbaum didn't do what he did, I wouldn't have to ask my mother for the money, and none of this would have happened. So yeah, I would have killed him, and I would have killed him with my hands. I wouldn't have shot him. I would have killed him with my own hands. And that's what I would have did. And that's what I called it at the time when I did the podcast about it, cause and effect, because what Tannenbaum did caused what caused me to do what I did, and inadvertently my father got the blunt of it because of things that I did that Tannenbaum forced me to do or made me do. And then they go, well, you could have been a better man. You could have went. I did. I went to the smaller tracks. You know what the fuck it is to travel around with 5-6 horses with no fucking money? They sleep in tack rooms and with no fucking no heat, no nothing. Back in the 60s, you know what it's like. And that's
they don't know what it's like. That's why they can't understand.
Yeah, and believe me, during them years, I ate my meals. My main meals were crimped oats and pigeons. And when the black guys caught enough of the pigeons, and we have usually twice a week, it was like having going to Sparks Steakhouse and having a steak.
Yeah, Thanksgiving you had squirrels.
And on the way to the paddock, you go into Green Mountain, you see all the big Cadillacs and Mercedes pulled in. They're all the owners of the racetrack and
the elite.
Yeah, the Rooneys owned it back then.
Yep.
It was just a joke. And then you want to go back and that's why. And I'm going to say this, and it's true. And it was right on television. When I won the Cane Pace, they wouldn't give me the ring. They didn't invite me to the dinner before the race, and they wouldn't give me the ring, the Cane Pace ring. They gave it to everybody else, and they gave the Cane Pace ring to the driver of the horse and to the trainer of the horse. They wouldn't give me the ring. So I didn't care. What do I care? I don't wear rings anyway. But the owner, Aaron Wagman, he got a lawyer. Joel Weinberg, and they sued, and they had to give me the ring. And when they gave me the ring, it was on television. Joel Weinberg made just like he did with everybody else. He presented me with the ring. And you know what I did with the ring? Right on TV. It's on TV. I took the ring and I flipped it right back, hit him in the chest, and I turned around and I walked away. And that's it. You barred me from your racetrack. You treat me like a fucking mutt. You don't want to hear no stories. You don't want to hear anything. You just want to keep making the money. How about the fucking 2 lanes when you go through Valet to the parking? And they had 3 lanes for the cars, and 2 of them had the iron thing sticking up, so there's a counter.
Yeah, it registered,
and
the other one didn't.
And all that money, all them cars, all that money went right up to
Rooney's pocket.
Yeah, and it goes on and on and on and on. And what about all the same thing with when they're building Aqueduct Racetrack, Belmont Park, even the infield at Monticello. The infield, Leon Greenberg made $100,000 kickback on that stupid fountain they put on the infield. There's a lot of things that I know. I was telling with Anthony about this, that sometimes it kills me when I have to keep my mouth shut. And I do keep my mouth shut 90% of the time. Because if I didn't, there'd be a whole lot of people in a whole lot of trouble. And they'd be knocked off their fucking high horse so fast. And a lot of them, both Hall of Famers in the jockeys, trainers, and drivers, they just seem to forget what happened years ago. And what bothers me is there's just about every one of them, they're all in really good shape. They're all financially, they're all in really good shape now. And they just forget. They just make believe like what they did to get to that point don't matter. It's at this point now. Yeah. And I've seen it in life. How the fuck do you get when I was dealing with Nicky Barnes and that whole crew and Robbie and Leon, there were these guys like come up later. They were little kids like 50 Cent, And all of these guys that are all multi-millionaires today, they're invited to the White House. They're billionaires. But how did they get there? Like they just completely forget about that. 50 Cent got shot 50, 60 times. Drug dealer. The same thing with all the rest of them, all the way up. And the guy that's in jail now, big whatever the Diddy, whatever his name is, he's going to get away with 99% of.
What a low life he is.
Yeah, and the guy's a billionaire. But you know what? When he's out in the street, and I'm sure it's like this in jail, they're all up his ass. He's everybody's best friend and everything else. I lived through all that shit. I lived on the bullshit pedestal that they put me up on when I was doing well. And then they fucking bulldozed the pedestal as soon as I went broke. Then you couldn't get a phone call. I lived through all of that shit. And I seen all of these guys from nothing come all the way up, and some I've been through. That's why I have very little patience for nonsense and bullshit, especially at this point in my life. The only thing is I can't do nothing about it. And when I was doing well, I didn't have to worry about doing anything about it because you're surrounded by yes men. But when you're doing bad, they stay so far away from you that even if you wanted to punch somebody in the face, you couldn't find them.
Yeah. Fair weather friends.
Okay, let's
Ronnie,
see.
we didn't hear anything from you, Ron. You must have something to tell us.
Well, I'm just listening. I'm just.
Yeah,
I find what Larry says.
You're up there.
I could tell you a few stories too, but
Go ahead.
Your whole screen would go black. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
I'm sure you have, and I'm sure you have a lot of stories too.
Yeah.
And probably some of them stories involve some of the people I'm talking about. Okay, let's see. Alex Meir, hi, fellas. Larry, what is your biggest score ever? It's not. I didn't. It wasn't like that. It was just you just grind every day. You know, you like I said, you invest 30, 40,000 in a race. You bet 30, 40,000. So you got, you're just trying to double your money. So it was never a big score. I was never after a big score. The biggest scores I made single betting was when I was dealing with Nicky Barnes, because we were betting 5,000 a position. So there was no race fixing. There was nothing. I just switched horses and just, every time I called them, it was with one of my horses that I drove. And so I put like a 20 claimer in a 3 claimer and bet 15,000 across the board on them. And then were the biggest scores we made. And then I'd send all my runners up in Monticello. Here, Larry's betting 200 on this horse, and drive the price of my horse all the way up. And we were getting track odds with Fat Tony. Them were the biggest scores I made. So sometimes I wouldn't get the whole 5,000. I get 2,500. Me and Nicky Barnes split it. We get 2,500 each, win, place, and show. So if the horse paid $10, $15, $20, that's the money I would win. And it was all off track. Nothing came back with Fat Tony. And so that was that. So there was never really a big score. The biggest score I would have made was the time I said it last week when I bet 10,000 of my own money on Chester Direct, and I got beat a lip by
Joe Feraldo. And Rock's Dream.
Yeah, and Rock's Dream, right.
The biggest score I made, I made in 1987. In 10 weeks, I made $660,000. I won 10 consecutive weeks in a row. But the biggest week I had, I made $240,000 in 1 week. That was the biggest week.
That's probably more than me. I'm not sure if I ever made that much in 1 week, even when I was dealing with Tony at Belmont and Aqueduct. I don't even think I made that much.
Yeah, it was betting sports and limited horses. I was betting a lot less on horses than sports.
No, I don't watch sports anymore.
No, I know.
Okay.
That's what we bet.
Let's see. Eddie, what's that? Prima donnas. What is that?
Prima donnas are like the elite. Like Barack Obama thinks he's a prima
He's talking
donna.
about the
Clintons.
jockeys.
I think he's
Oh,
talking about the
oh,
jockeys.
yeah,
Yeah, a bunch
yeah,
of prima
yeah,
donnas.
yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. And if that's the real reason why they quit, that's sad. That's not good. Because if I was an owner, I'd be furious. You know, if it was because of the track conditions, and I understand. If it was a serious thing, I understand. But because of a disagreement, because you could straighten that stuff out. You don't have to cancel the races and have all that. That's terrible. Okay. Hi, Eddie. How is Mia? That must be one of his horses. I don't know. I don't know.
2-year-old.
Oh,
Yes,
wait, here he is. Turned out to grow. Bring her back as a 3-year-old. Good move. Okay, the 3 casinos will be Aqueduct, City Field, and the Bronx, all within 15 miles from each other.
Are they going to use the old Ferry Point Park in the Bronx,
I don't know.
right under the Whitestone Bridge?
You'd have to answer
that's
that.
what they're saying. I don't know.
Is that it? Yeah. I used to ride motorcycles when I was a kid.
Answer. Here's an answer. Larry, cool down on that word kill.
No.
Kickback.
My friend.
I think he meant F
He's
you.
talking about kickback, Larry.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, from YouTube. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, there's certain things you can't say. You can't say. Yeah. But this was 40 years ago, you know. And,
Yeah.
but you're right.
Everybody knows it.
You know, every once in a while I talk like a real fucking asshole. I know that. I'm trying to get better, but I know. But what really gets me, and it's hard to control, is when I talk about that guy.
Yeah, because it brings back bad memories.
It just gets me. But you're right. I shouldn't be saying that word. Yeah, you're right. There's certain things, certain other words you can't say about some stuff. Yeah, I got to watch that.
I didn't know that.
I drove through Yonkers Raceway, ran over that stick and didn't stop. Had 5 Yonkers cop cars surrounding me and telling me to go back and pay. Yeah. Remember they had that little wire that went up?
It was like a little weighted springboard thing that there was just
Yeah, they had three lanes or 4 lanes, and 1 lane had nothing. And and naturally that was the one
2 for you and 1 for me deal.
Yeah. Okay, the Bronx to have a casino and a hotel. Who would ever think that? Right over the Whitestone Bridge, first exit. Who is going to go to that?
We used to go to a motel right near the Whitestone Bridge when we were kids. Right on the side of the Whitestone Bridge, there was a motel. Remember years ago? I don't know if you guys know the area. Yeah, they had a room called the Jungle Room. It was like set up like Africa. Oh, it's crazy.
Jesse Black is my friend is telling all the guys no more caps. I don't know why he don't want no caps, but he says no more.
Because caps means you're yelling.
Oh, okay. But this guy says that Larry said he can't see the questions. So, all right. Take it easy, Jesse Black. What's the difference? I just can't say that word anymore. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, no more caps. That's okay, buddy. Do you think Tannenbaum ever thought about you? I'm sure he did not.
He did at one point.
Tannenbaum was busy screwing. He was very, very politically connected with the Democrats. And he was involved in more swindles and deals. In fact, I think he even went to jail for it or got fined a lot of money. He just wasn't a nice guy. He wasn't a nice guy. He just happened to be partners betting with Morty Finder. And when you're Morty Finder and you blow a bet.
Thank you there for that answer.
What answer?
Somebody just gave me an answer to my question.
Oh.
About the golf course. It's like
Yeah.
coming from Long Island, that side, not going to Long Island.
All right. Anyway, so that's it. I went to the doctor today, Joe, the pain management guy,
Yeah,
and he told me that the rest of my life I will be on,
oxycodone.
yeah, for the rest of my life, which is fine. I told him, I says, look, I'm 85. If I have to be a drug addict for the rest of my life, but you got to eliminate this pain. And
Are they helping you, Larry?
oh yeah.
What strength are you on?
5 milligrams.
Only
And
5.
plus one other thing, he gives me one. He says the one thing is more for my sciatica, the other one is for the back.
So one's like a muscle relaxer and one's a pain.
No. They're both painkillers, but one works better on it. But I spoke to Sal
Oh,
today.
okay.
He called me, and Sal says that the shock therapy really straightened out good. You know what they
Yes,
did?
Al had great luck with the shock therapy.
Yeah, they probably killed the nerve. That's what they did. That's what that stuff does. So I'm going to call tomorrow about from all the therapy places and see if they use shockwave therapy. If they do, I'm going to go there. He says
Give it a try. I did that, but I did it like 10 years ago and it didn't help me.
Well, Sal said it took about 10 weeks and then it was
Yeah, but he started improving pretty much the first few sessions.
But I'll tell you, Joe, I don't know how the hell you do it because this pain. But he says now that I could take it 3 times a day. I was only taking them in the morning when I get up and at night so I can go to sleep.
Larry, now listen to me. I take 6 times the strength you take. I take 30 milligrams 4 times a day. And a lot of days when I have to work on the weekends, I take 5 or 6 of them that day because I can't get through the workday. You know, it's just I got to live with it. You know, I never forget when I first went on them. Because I got the injections, I went to chiropractors, I did all the things they could do to you. And the doctor said, Joe, I'm going to tell you something. You start taking these pills, you're on them for life. Understand that now. He says, I really don't want to write this prescription, but I know your situation needs them. But I just want to tell you, you're going to be on it for life. And already it's like 10, 12 years.
Well,
They won't even write 30 milligrams no more because I'm grandfathered in because I've been on them so long. But they'll eventually raise you up to, I would say, up to 15s. When you
I really don't. He asked me about that, and I told him. I says, "Look, I don't think." I says,
"No, you're going to see what's going to happen in
but
about
you know another
6
thing
months. They're going to start wearing off and not helping you as much."
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you your opinion. Because he said that to me. He says, "When did this start?" And I says, "It started when I got out of the hospital for my cancer thing. It started then because prior to that I was fine. Prior to that I drove to California. I drove here. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden this happened." So he says, "Well, you know, what did you do? And I says, "Well, I'll tell you. The day I got out of the hospital with the bag on my side, I says, I came home and I took my dog to the dog park.
Okay, T-bone.
Because I was in the hospital for 3-4 days and he missed me and I take him. So I took him. On the way home, there was a 4-way stop sign. And I waited my turn and I went and this girl come right through the stop sign, boom, and broadsided me. Now, when she broadsided me, it caved in the whole passenger side of the car. And the dog was sitting on the passenger side.
That's what happened to my father's car.
And the dog come right across me, ripped the bag right off of me, and had me crushed up against here. So now when the cops come, they get me out of the car, but I had the colostomy bag here, and it ripped open. And there was blood all over the place. So the cop says to me, and my hand was bleeding. Something happened to my hand. And I was worried about my dog getting loose. So I got the dog on a leash. I'm holding him. They opened the door, and it was this disgusting sight. And he says, "You need an ambulance?" I said, No. I just want to go home. I says, "Please call Joanne." And he called Joanne for me. It was only 3 blocks from my house. She come right up, and I says, "Take the dog." And the cop, I told the cop what it was. The girl admitted she did it. and he says, "You sure you don't want to?" I says, "I just want to go home." I was so embarrassed because of that bag and everything. It was all over. It was terrible. I just wanted to go home. So now I'm in the doctor's office, and he says, "Well, that's probably what happened, because my whole neck is out of whack. The chiropractor is helping my neck, but not my back." So tomorrow, this happened December 13th last year. So tomorrow I have a friend. I got to meet him tomorrow, 9:00. And I'll probably, if he says I have a lawsuit, but maybe I don't because of my age. I'm not working. So, I don't know if it
has nothing to do with it. What does that have to do with it?
What
your
about
age?
pain and suffering?
Right.
You're
Yeah.
never too old for that.
Look what you're going through now. What are you kidding?
Yeah.
So maybe so I'm gonna and maybe I'll start that lawsuit because I checked it out and they said you have 2 years in Jersey to do it.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that because it is terrible, and it will affect the way I live the rest of my life.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
I gotta-
absolutely life affecting.
Yeah.
So,
Joe, I don't know if you know, but when a person starts out on oxycodone, now the doctor only gives them 2.5 milligrams.
5
and-
milli. Yeah, they give
and-
like half Percocet. They give half.
And only 8
acetaminophen.
pills, not 30
Yeah.
pills, 8 pills. Right.
Right.
My son had a bad back. He had to go to a drug called Dilaudid. You ever hear
Yeah,
that?
Dilaudid. Yeah.
That's called hospital heroin. Dilaudid takes the pain away from anything, but
Yeah.
not many doctors, if any, will
I was on Dilaudid.
Yeah, not many doctors will prescribe that, and you actually have a hard time at the pharmacy for them giving it to you.
Yeah.
You can't just walk in with a prescription. They say, "Okay,
No, they look at you
we'll
like
fill
you're
it."
some kind
They
of
have to call the
drug
doctor
addict.
and make sure. But that stuff is unbelievable.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. I've been on them all. Believe me.
yeah.
Legally.
I think you have to go to like a pain management doctor. To
I
get
do.
that.
I got to go every month. They take
Oh, okay.
urine samples, saliva samples. They
That's
don't
where I
fool
went
around.
today. I went to a pain management guy today, and
Yeah.
I sat down. He was a nice guy. I sat down there for a couple of hours, and he says, "Well, you'll be getting all your prescriptions from me from now on," because it took 3 doctors to get to this guy.
All right.
So now that I'm with this guy,
Yeah.
he says, "Look, there's really not much you can do. I really don't recommend an operation.
No, definitely not.
You're 85." He
Definitely
says,
not.
"If
Yeah,
you do
you'd
that
never
table-"
walk again.
Yeah.
Exactly
You have
what
an
he told
operation
me.
at 85 years old for that problem. You'll never walk again, Larry.
They told me that when I was in my 50s. He says, I could do the operation. He says, here's the deal. And this was when, right after I had my kidney removed. And that was a year recovery, which was brutal. But when I went to the doctor, he says, an orthopedic surgeon, he worked on the Dolphins, and he was a top-notch guy. He told me, he said, Joe, here's the deal. It's 50-50 whether the operation helps you. If it does help you, I could probably relieve your pain for maybe 4 or 5 years. He says if it doesn't help you, you will end up in a wheelchair for the rest of your life.
No shot.
And I says, no way I'm going to risk that. No way.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, he says, I don't recommend the operation for you. He says, because you got too many things wrong with your back. And, they put me on the oxycodone, and little by little, they moved me up, because they weren't helping. I could take a 20 milligram pill, a 15 milligram pill, and it'll be like nothing at all. So I got to take the 30s.
Well, he told me that I could take it 3 times a day.
Yeah,
now
you could take them 6 times a day.
Well,
But
if I
not
take
now. Not now.
If I take it 3 times a day, I'm in good shape. Because
Okay,
now
good.
I only take it in the morning when I get up, and I get up at like 5, 6 o'clock,
Right.
and I take it at night before I go to bed, so I could sleep. But if I could take what sometimes in the afternoon, I try to make it till the nighttime, but sometimes it's tough. But now that he says I could take it 3 times a day, I'm going to
Yeah.
take it and then I'll be good. That's all I need.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want
You know,
to be,
people say you get addicted to them. I mean, that's nonsense.
but I don't
It's
care.
like
I'm 85. I'm
because
not
just
20.
because it's a pain medication, it's like I take blood pressure pills every week, every day too. That means I'm a blood pressure addict? No, it's something I need to live my life. It's not like I'm addicted. I take Eliquis because I have atrial fibrillation. That means I'm an addict because I take them? No, they're prescribed. They help me, and that's what I need. You're not an addict. That's ridiculous.
This guy here says, Joe, if they ever cut you off, the withdrawal from Oxy is brutal.
I know. It happened once to me for one day, and I was sick, stomach cramps, sweating. It was the worst day in the world. A lot of times when I like the pharmacies, you get backed up on them, and you have to wait a couple of days. And they say, Joe, we're back ordered. They probably won't be here till Tuesday, and I know like Friday is my last day in them. I start like worrying, breaking the pills and taking a little at a time just to keep it in your system. You have a lot more pain,
This
but
guy
just to
says you
keep
would
it so
have
you
to
don't go
go.
through withdrawals.
This guy says you'd have to go on methadone. What is that?
Well,
Methadone
methadone is what they used to use
with
for heroin
addicts
addicts to
more.
weed them off.
Yeah.
But now they got something called Suboxone, which is an antagonist that replaces it. You weed yourself off with it. But I'm not weeding myself off. I'm comfortable with them. I'm taking them. And the good thing is they go, I have one kidney. I had kidney cancer. I had to get a kidney removed 10 years ago and not 8 years ago. And they go right through the kidney with no problem. So to me, they're ideal. Larry, there was a question there from a Higgins guy. I forgot his first name about the Goshen with me.
Yeah, he says.
Put that back up. So I want to answer him. Okay, John. Here's the situation with Goshen. I always had I had my horse farm in Campbell Hall. I kept around 40 horses there, but I did not have a training track there. I had a equicizer and I had paddocks. But I kept 6 stalls at Goshen, which was like 8 miles from my house. And like if I was bringing a horse back to the races or I was breaking a couple of babies, and I would keep 6 stalls there. So Ray Schnitka, you probably know, runs Goshen Racetrack. He has the biggest barn there. He's been there for 100 years. And his owners are all on the board in Goshen and everything else. They run the show at Goshen. And Ray's like, he's the in-charge guy there as far as the power at Goshen and his owners. So Ray, over the years, I bought horses off of because I was a claimant guy, and Ray didn't want claimers. Ray wanted, champion horses. And a lot of times he would approach me, Joe, I got to sell a few horses. You interested? And I looked him over and say, yeah, Ray, I like this one. I like that one. So there's a horse I like. I want to claim him, but I don't want to claim off Ray, but I'm friendly with him, to a point where I used to ship his horse down to Yonkers when I'm going, but I'm going every night to Yonkers. So if he had one horse in, he said, Joe, you got room to take mine down? And I bring him down and back to the farm at night. And, I didn't charge him or anything. I just put him on my truck and did him a favor. So we were semi-friendly. So I approached him about a horse. He was a $25,000 claimer. His name was Just the Beginning, I think. And the horse was laying behind, and I thought I knew exactly where it was. And Ray's no dummy, and his wife's a vet, but I just had a feeling about this horse. So I asked him if he would sell him to me. And he said, Joe, he says, you don't want this horse. He's lame. I can't get him sound. He's and besides that, he's a no trying piece of shit. Just like that, he said to me. And I says, well, I don't want to claim him off your neighbors. With neighbors, it'll look bad. I said, so could I buy him off you? He says, Joe, there'll be no hard feelings at all. I don't want to go through the buying stuff with the owners because I only own a small piece of him. He said, just claim the horse. I said, Ray, it's going to look bad. I don't want to do that. He said, Joe, claim the horse. You'll be doing me a favor. I promise no hard feelings. Well, I buy the horse. I claim the horse that night. I take him. I get the vet. and I start blocking. And sure enough, after about 3 or 4 trips to the track, blocking certain points of his left hind, I found the spot. And I said, okay, we got him. He blocked sound. We did whatever we had to do to get him sound. And I told the owner, I says, listen, this horse has been lame. He's sound. I says, he's going to win. So I put him in a 30 claimer, I put him in a 30 claimer, and he went for fun. He went by the length of the stretch. And I was happy. You know, the horse raced super. So the next week I put him in a 40. He wins again. Takes a lifetime mark. This is an 8-year-old horse. Takes a lifetime mark. He wins easy. I put him in a 50 claimer. He wins again. Ray is like, they're like not making fun of him, but Ray, you know, you told me you were laughing when he took the horse, and now look at him. The next week, that month, the bill was due. I got a bill in the mail, and I didn't owe them a penny. I was on time with them, and there was a letter attached to the bill. He said, Mr. Guarino, we're getting a big stable moving in, and we have to, unfortunately, free up 20-something stalls. And the guys with the least amount of horses are going to have to leave. So I says, but, you know, I've been here a long time. They said, well, I'm sorry, you have to leave. It's not only you. Well, long story short, what am I going to do? I leave. But it wasn't because the stable came in. There was no big stable came in, because I was the only one that had to leave. They told me other people were leaving, but no one ever did. But it was because it sort of made Ray look bad, I guess. And they said, just get him out of here. And his owners were on the board and everything, and it was like the talk of the town at how good I did with this horse. And they asked me to leave. So that's the issue I had with Goshen. And it's still the same owners, basically. And I guess Ray called the shot, you know, get him out of here. And that's what happened. That's the only reason it possibly could be. And I did everything the right way. I asked him, could I buy him? And I bought horses off him before and did well with them. But they were cheaper horses. Like, you know, I'd buy a 10 claimer off him for $5,000 and did good with him. But it was not like this horse. This horse went from being lame to being sound and winning. And I don't know, but they asked me to leave. So the only conclusion I came to was races, just get him out of here.
Anthony,
And it wasn't for anything else.
Yeah.
What else could it be? Can you think of something else? It's not like I, you know, beat somebody up or cursed somebody out or, you know, stepped on somebody's toes. I didn't do anything. I did everything the right way. And they asked me to leave. So what am I going to do?
well, you answered that. Anthony, if they have the Roosevelt reunion, are you going to fly down?
I don't know. I might.
That'd be good. If you fly down and Joe flies down,
Yeah.
I'm sure Ron is going to probably be there. And we can all have,
We could do a live podcast.
We
Larry.
could do a live podcast. Yeah.
we'll all have dinner. We'll have, unless they have, last time they had, when they had dinner upstairs, but if not, we go to the last time I saw Ron, he took me to lunch at Il Villaggio's, and we can go there. It's right 2 minutes from the racetrack. So
Yeah.
we can go there. So we just got to find out if they're ever going to have this thing. I don't know who's in charge of this.
Freddie said it was January 31st, like it was set. But when I spoke to Michael Chance last week, he didn't know anything about it. So
You think they would advertise it by now?
yeah, you got to ask
Is he
Freddie,
coming
because
back
he's
on
the
the
one
show,
that's-
Joe?
Yeah, he is. He had a couple of health issues in his family and himself, so he's getting through that. And
Did you
he's going to
mention
be
it
on
to
in a
him?
few weeks. Excuse me?
Did you mention to him about coming back?
Oh yeah, he's going to come back.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say before Christmas he'll be on.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But
I should drive down to the farm one morning and see him. I've just been so busy with that other thing, and now with this back problem. But I should get in my car one morning and just drive down there and say hello to him, have breakfast with him or something. He's a good guy.
Yeah, for your back, driving is not a good thing for you.
No, I know, but as long as I can take them pills,
Yeah,
right? It's all right. As long as that's all. And I told him, I says, look, I got no problem being a drug addict for the rest of my life. If I understand, the last 5 vertebrae or whatever.
L4, L5 probably.
Yeah, they're all the discs are all ruptured. There's no cartilage.
You got
They're
no
all
cushion
all
in between. They're
calcified,
bone on bone.
arthritis set in. It's everything is wrong. So there's no fixing.
It's all calcified and spurs and stuff.
Yeah.
I know.
Just relieve the pain.
Back pain is the most horrible pain there is.
Ooh.
You know, I mean, to me, it's. I would compare it to a root canal with no Novocaine. Okay, I'm not kidding.
That's impossible. Yeah. I think that's impossible to get.
There are times that it hits me that I have to actually grab on to whatever's next to me. If it's a tree, if it's a garbage pail, if it's a parking meter, if it's a person, because I'm scared to move. It feels like something is going to snap if I just step the wrong way. And I don't know which way to step. I don't know where it's coming from. It's so bad. You just can't understand it until it happens.
Yeah.
But the pain is so excruciating that a guy like me who could take a lot of pain, believe me, I'm like, oh, I scream. And people look at me like, you crazy? I actually scream, and it's uncontrollable.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, you said can you sue just for pain and suffering?
Of course.
Well, that's what it's for. That's what you're going to be suing for: medical bills and pain and suffering.
Well, I have no medical bills. The Medicare takes care of that. I don't.
All right. Well, then pain and suffering, of course.
As long as you can show the other person that they're liable for it, then you have pain and suffering. And the story you just told about being in that car when the police come, believe me, you were suffering.
Right.
You were suffering.
Without a doubt.
If not physical, mental.
And the big thing, Larry, is you have no history of back problems before the accident.
I can relate to it.
Right? You didn't go to a doctor before the accident for your back or anything, right?
Exactly.
No,
it all happened after the accident, so that's it.
But on the other hand, all the people who watch this podcast every week could sue you, Larry, for pain and suffering.
Right.
For watching the podcast every week.
And I'm afraid they're going to include us, too. I already have an attorney.
Yeah. It'll be a class action suit.
I got somebody on retainer. Hey, guys, I'm getting tired. I'm going to go.
I'm getting tired,
Where
too.
you going?
Come on, Anthony. Where are you going?
Hang on.
I got to show you, Larry. I got to show you something.
Okay.
I found this book. I don't know where I got it. It says Pompano Park Harness Track. See that book right there?
See, I told you Ron had something.
And then I went to this page here. Let me read this to you. Now you know this is going to be about you, right, Larry?
I have no idea.
So anyway, it says, just back from her recent personal appearance at the Super Bowl, Grand Opera star Margarita Piazza attended the races at Pompano Park Harness Track during the winter meet of 1967. Here she congratulates winner Larry Rolla. There you are, Larry. Look at it. Hey?
Oh, that was that opera singer. Yeah.
That's you right there.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
1967 that was?
Yeah, 1967. Wow. And the head of this whole thing is called Celebrities and More. So you're in the Celebrities and More thing out, Larry.
You know what? I did do a Pompano
meant to be.
Park.
You're a celebrity.
I won.
I don't know where I got this.
I won the Playboy Bunny race, and they gave me lifetime membership to the Playboy Bunny. Then they had a competition of all the nationalities, and I represented Italy. And it was a whole elimination thing and everything, and it come down to the final race.
Yeah.
And I was in the finals, and I won the final, and they gave me a 6-foot trophy. A 6-foot trophy. They
Really?
gave- yeah.
Larry, look at this picture. Remember you had a couple of weeks ago?
Where? That's Mickey.
Look at that picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Nichols. You know, I didn't want to say too much because I didn't want to embarrass him, but and I don't know how he would handle it, but I think he'd be all right. He would have been one of the superstars of harness racing had he not had that addiction that he fell into. It was so sad. He's such a good guy and a talented guy, great driver. It was such a shame, such a shame. People talk about Walter Case, and this is a case similar to Walter Case. And
Yeah,
in my
Mickey
opinion,
was a talented guy. He really was.
it was so sad, so sad, so sad.
So Larry, in this, but also they have the drivers driving these elephants.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Look at that elephant. Look at that sulky.
I
I don't
think
know where I
Joe
got this
Nico
book.
drove an
I must have had
elephant.
this for.
Larry,
just
you think
found
you could fix an elephant race?
I think so.
I'd have to get Tarzan,
Yeah.
Johnny Weissmuller.
You know what mistake you made, Larry, I think, and I always think about this? You could have been the Marlboro man.
I
And
could have been.
You turned it down.
I showed you the pictures, didn't I?
I know. Why? I mean, I don't understand you. You know, he would have been the Marlboro man. He would have done the commercials for Marlboro. He would have
Yeah.
been on the poster board.
If I should go through, I did a big podcast a couple of weeks ago. And I forgot who it was I was talking to, but if I would have took advantage of just one or two of the opportunities that came my way,
Especially with
would've-
Kadish. Forget it.
I would have been an extremely wealthy guy today. I just had that fucking bullshit attitude that I wanted what I wanted when I wanted, and nobody's going to tell. Just a stupid attitude. And now it's so sad because there were legitimate people that will give me legitimate shots because I was a good friend to them. We were friends, and I was doing a good job for them, and we got along well. And they were in a position to do it when I didn't even need it, but they still offered it to me. And I just never took advantage of not one situation.
Because you don't want to be controlled or tied down.
Right. I didn't want to be controlled. And now, even when I got suspended, they all stayed with me till I lost my final appeal. All of them.
That was your other big mistake, not making a deal with those Monticello drivers.
Yeah, that
That
was
gets
the
me
biggest
sick
one.
every day I think of that.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, that was like a home run for everybody.
You guarantee they would have took the money.
They would have loved to take the money.
They would have took the money.
Yeah, but I couldn't live with the reputation that
But
Larry
they would have
had.
took the money. That's the whole
Not
thing.
only
They would
that,
have
but
took
the
the
But it's
money.
not a rat. They made a deal. It's
Right.
like your hand.
They were willing to do it. Well,
You're
we
not
don't
a
know.
rat
they were,
if you
but
make a
They
deal.
would have done it. Yeah.
that would have been all part of the deal, Larry. The
Yeah.
whole part of the deal that there was only going to be
Right.
between them.
And
That
look
it
at
wouldn't have
the
been for
good owners
publication.
look at the good owners that you had to give up.
Yeah.
What a shame. That's really to me that was a big mistake.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
know me,
that's
I'm
water
old
under the
school.
bridge.
I don't like rats, and that's
Mm-mm.
it. Rats are rats.
But
That's not a rat.
That's not a rat if you're agreeing
You've been
to do
doing them
it.
a
If
favor.
you're taking money for it, it's not a rat.
Yeah,
No.
especially the money they offered. It wasn't like you giving them $20,000.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You were giving them more than they made in the last 10 years.
But Joe, you saw that
Or
example
they're
that I
making the
gave
next
Larry.
one.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
that was the most absurd example anybody could give. I did
Well,
that
yeah.
just to show they
Yeah.
couldn't have done that in 10 years,
No.
let alone
They
4
couldn't have
years.
did that. There were one horse races. They couldn't have did that.
Yeah,
Got that kind of money.
that had been it.
Uh,
What can you? Hey, Larry, I showed this picture to my wife, and
Water
she
under
said,
the
"Boy,
bridge."
Larry was a handsome guy." You know that,
She
Larry?
said was. You hear that, Larry? She
was
said
the-
Larry
Larry
was.
the dapper.
Larry's thinking about what?
No, I used to think I was good looking until I ran out of money.
Well, I said that, and my wife Susan said, "Boy, Larry was a nice, really a handsome guy." Yeah.
You were a sharp guy, Larry. You always dressed sharp. I remember that.
Well, back in them days, I used to wear a sport jacket or
Yeah,
suit
I
to the
know.
racetrack every night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Me, I used to go up with piss stains on my knees and filthy, dirty, stinking winter colors. And
What I want to know is, how did Larry get up and train all those horses at Monticello, and then go to the Concord every night, and then get back up the next morning at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning? What'd you have,
I
like 4
didn't.
hours sleep?
I slept 2, 3 hours, 4 hours. That was enough. That was
it's
enough.
dedication. It's the love of the game.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get to the barn in the morning. I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to see if whatever I did the day before worked with this particular horse or that, or
Yeah.
and not only that, but I used to jog as many horses as I could. I tried to take out maybe 10, 15 that
That's what I did too. I jogged
I would
as many
jog
as I could.
myself and maybe make these crazy changes and try a lot of crazy things. I tried, and I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the music at night, but I still couldn't wait till the morning till we especially if I got a new horse in or something. And
Yeah, I love rigging horses because to me, rigging a horse is just somebody's opinion. That's all it is. And once people get equipment cards, that horse could be rigged the same way for 10 years in a row.
Yeah.
But when you get a horse and you rig them yourself, it's a challenge. It's like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. And then you look at the equipment card and say, wow.
They were. I'm going to put in because I just remembered the name Bobby Scores and Tootsie's Best. There was a trainer in Yonkers called Bobby Scores.
Yep.
I just remembered this. Bobby Scores calls me up one day and he says, Larry, I got this horse. I'm almost positive the horse's name is Tootsie's Best. I could be wrong with the name, but I think it's Tootsie's Best.
I remember a horse named Tootsie's Best. I don't know who had him.
And he says to me, look, I qualified him 3 times. They won't let me qualify him no more. Qualifying time, I think was 2.7, and he couldn't go faster than 2.9.
For a trotter.
He sends him up to me.
Was it a trotter?
Pacer.
2.7 was the qualify? Oh, Monticello. Okay.
No, at Yonkers. This was in the
The
early
60s?
70s or 60s, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember less than 2.5.
Oh, well, whatever. I don't remember neither. I'm making it up the time.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
remember the time, but it was right around 2.7, 2.8. I don't know. And I'm making up the time, but I'm just figuring, look, half the stuff I say, I fill in the gaps. I don't, like my friend called me up last year and he says, I was there that day. It wasn't it wasn't a Wednesday. It was a Thursday. What the fuck? I don't remember. It's 60, 70 years ago. So anyway, he sends me up this horse. He says he can't. He's 2 seconds shy again. Okay. And he sends me up this horse. I told the story once before. And he sends me up the horse with all the equipment. He says, don't change nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change nothing. So he says, because he'll make breaks. He's crazy. He falls down, but I got him where he's perfect. He just don't go fast enough. So he sends me all the equipment up. He says, don't change nothing. How can I change it? He had everything riveted in place. The hobbles were riveted. The head check were riveted. He had a martingale and 4-ring over check. He had everything. One thing that he had contradicted the other thing. You know what it's like? It's like taking a medicine and then another medicine to take care of the side effects at the first. And before you know it, you're taking 50 pills. So anyway, he sends me up all this equipment. Shin bones, hind shin bones, knee boots, everything. So now I'm taking a horse out. So I go down the hill with him in Monticello. And, just before you hit the road, before you go onto the track, there's that little hump. Well, he trips over the hump. When he trips, he goes down. The head check snaps. And one of the hobbles, the 5/8-inch leather hobbles. Hobble snaps and the head check snaps.
Beautiful.
So I get off. I take him back to the barn. I says, take everything off and let me just jog him a few miles in it. Okay. He cut up his knee a little bit, no big deal. I take him out there with nothing on, no head check, no nothing, just a bridle, a bit, and me and him. And he's going out there and he's trotting and trotting and trotting. He gets to a certain, he switched right over to the pace. I says, Jesus Christ. And I clipped him a little bit more. And after about 3 miles, I turn him. I go a trip and he's pacing. He's got his head down between his legs, but he's pacing. He's pacing. We get to the head of the stretch, just going around half a mile. And I just caught to him. He comes flying. I wind up qualifying the horse free-legged. I take him to freehold. I think he went 3 or 4 in a row, free-legged. I turned this horse that was like restricted, like the horse Iron Mask, into a free-legged pacer. Bobby Scores was the name of the trainer, and the horse was Tootsie's Best. I hope somebody finds a program on him or something. And these are the things that I enjoy doing. And another one, Al Persicelli owned a bunch of trotters. One was called Confidence, and he had him with, I forget who he had him with. His name was Al Persicelli. He was a contractor and lived in Long Island, and he had a trotter called Confidence. And I'm almost positive, but I'm not. I shouldn't even say this, but I think Lee Broglio trained him. But I think I might be wrong. But anyway, he sends me up to trotter. He can't keep him trotting. He keeps making breaks, can't keep him trotting. So I get the horse up there, and the first thing I did was he had 3/4 inch half rounds up front. 3/4 inch half rounds with a toe weight up front. So the first thing I did was I pulled the front shoes off. I took the back shoes off. I took the front shoes off. I took the toe weights off. I put his head down between his legs. And that was all I did. And the horse kept winning and winning. I took him to freehold. In fact, I have pictures of him at freehold in a winner's circle and just win. And all I had to do with that horse was take all the weight off.
Take all the weight off.
Take everything off. And
Back then, the mindset was a trotter had to be way light behind, short behind, no weight, and all the weight up front.
Yep.
And the more weight. And they had, I never saw. Up until that time, the heaviest shoe I saw was a keg shoe that they put on the horses years ago. They used to run in the street collecting newspapers.
Yeah.
3/4 inch half round. That thing weighed as much as a 5 pound bag of
plus the
sugar.
toe weight.
And plus the toe weight.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
A brass toe weight.
And not only that, but
like this.
yeah, 2 sets of bell boots. The first one is the round one, and the second one is a rib bell boot. Oh my God. And then they put his head way up in the air because that tends to make him unbelievable. And all I did, he called me a genius. So, and he wound up giving me 3 or 4 other horses. And all I did was take everything off him. That's it. Just take everything off him. And he thought I was a genius. And Bobby Scores thought I was a genius too. And if it wasn't that the horse tripped, he'd still be racing with 3/4 inch leather hobbles with rivets in them. Okay, let me see what Sundance says. Larry, when Larry told me the story of him being the Marlboro Man, I wanted to kick him. I showed you. I put the pictures up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put the pictures up.
Sundance, where's Greg's phone number?
Oh, she sent me a message that she said that I should give you, I don't know, something like that. So I was supposed to give you a number.
Oh, it's about time.
Yes, he could have been a Marlboro Man, and he wouldn't do it. He made me so mad. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. In fact, McClune threw me out of the racetrack. He was so mad at me because he made me go to the first meeting. I wouldn't go. He made me go. He says, if you don't go, get your horses off the grounds. So I went to the first meeting, and they had a big board with the picture and everything, and they were starting a whole bunch of advertisements and everything, and I never went back the second time, but the meet ended at freehold, so he never got a chance to throw me out.
You don't like the camera. You didn't want to be in the Sopranos.
No, I didn't. I could have been in Sopranos too.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You don't like you're camera shy.
I could have been in the movie with Jake LaMotta.
Yeah, Raging Bull.
Raging Bull. I could have been in that movie. I could have been when I was in California. They did a bunch of movies in the Lacage Club. I could have been in all of them movies. I don't like this shit, but I'm so used to it now. If you've seen the first show I ever did, I had to read. Frankie Vincent was supposed to sit next to me and do all the talking. And he wrote down what he was going to say, and then he died. So I had what he was going to say. So the first show I ever did, I had Jimmy sitting next to me, and all I had to do was read. I couldn't talk, and I just threw the paper. I said, "Hey, you read it." Now I never shut up. I'm so
you come a long way, baby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You could have did the Benson and Hedges commercial too. You come a long way, baby. Remember that the woman's cigarette?
Yeah.
Virginia Slims or one of them.
Yeah, one of those cigarettes.
Well, and so my advice to the young people is take advantage of any situation that comes your way.
You never know where it's going to lead.
And you got to get up and you got to get out. And that's what I tell Joanne a lot. Just where you going? Where you going? It's raining out. Where you going? I says, I'm going out. You never know. If I sit here tomorrow morning, everything that's happened is going to be exactly the same. If I go out, maybe something will happen and things will change. I never sit home. Never, ever. I don't ever sit home.
Well, they asked Howard Hughes if he had to contribute one thing to his success. His answer was never passing up an opportunity.
Yeah. And
one thing, if he had to say, never passing up an opportunity.
Well,
but, hey, we all do it. All right, guys.
Yeah. All right. Can we go now?
2
Ron,
hours.
you want to say anything else? You want to say something? There was a thing here. What about Ron? You left Ron out.
Hold your peace.
Here. I'm sure you saw it.
Oh, they said hello. Hello. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
All right, Joe, you're okay?
Anyway,
Your dad's going to be all right?
I'm good, Larry.
Your dad's home now with you in that house?
I brought him home tonight, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. Okay.
All right, guys.
Is he sleeping now?
Yeah.
I'm expecting a call from Sal in a day or two, he said. And,
Sal was sick. He got food poisoning or something.
Sal?
Yeah, he's okay now, but him and his wife went out for Chinese or something, and they got sick, both of them.
No, he didn't say that. He called me this morning. He called me this afternoon. In fact, he called me when I was in the doctor's office.
Right.
He sounded all right, but he said he talked to the guy. The guy says he sees no problem. He says he went on and everything good.
I think it was Sunday that he got sick.
Where was that, Joe?
In Utah.
Oh, Utah. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
so you don't have to worry about.
I was hoping that if it was around here, I would get the name and make sure I never went there.
Yeah, I know. So.
That's
all right. Well, thank you guys for
brutal.
coming on tonight.
All right.
Take care.
Keep us posted, Larry.
Yeah, I will. I'll keep you posted.
All right.
Ron, good
take
to
it
see
easy,
you.
Anthony.
Ron, Joe,
yeah, Joe, take it. I'll talk to you soon.
Everybody out there.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody out there.
Good night.
Thanks for having me on, Larry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, we'll see. We'll talk. Bye.
All right. Larry, take care. All right.